So the little box that jumps up on your screen there, you got to click the word "Got it." The box should clear out of the way. And now, again, some of you don't set up your room like I set mine up, but if you can, please do. You have to have 3 chairs or something that approximates this. So these 2 chairs act as like little balance supports, and this
Эти стулья стоят перед его стулом. Понимаешь?
what's that? That sounded like Russian. Alexander, I think that was from you. Okay. So again, these 2 act like supports, so we can be over on this side, and then we can be over on this side. And also later in class, when we do our long walk, when we're walking across this way, it's nice to have the 2 chairs so that you can take many steps backwards and forwards and have the chairs for support. So I highly recommend you set up like this. 3 chairs, 1 to sit in, and 2 with the backs of the chairs facing in. Ideally, they're high enough chairs that you don't feel like you're leaning over to get to the support from the chair. All right.
What's the third chair with the wheel?
What's that? What's the question?
Or the question is, do we need a chair with wheels or it can be an ordinary chair?
No wheels needed. No wheels needed at all. So just regular chairs. Any other question? Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. I'm going to mute everybody now.
Thank you.
And we'll get going. Okay, so again, we start both the Monday class, today's class, and the Friday class similarly, because we want to, the sort of underlying infrastructure of the practice is the same, the sort of overlapping ideas of Zhongjung, which is a Chinese term, Taoist term meaning central upright. This middle pillar, this plumb line through the middle of us, that when our posture is poor, we don't have that plumb line intact. And so then when we practice the next principle of Chungwon, which is softening and relaxing everything, so that as your means of finding stability, that sturdy stability that we're looking for, we don't want to find it by tightening, we want to find it by relaxing. But if our Zhongjung is not intact, then as I relax, I just get more and more out of position, more and more crumpled. So we have to work those 2. In your sitting practice, it's a great place to work on it. So the chin comes down a little bit, the crown as if being sort of drawn up towards the sky. And you find that plumb line, that middle line, as best you can. And then relax, release as best you can into that. And feel how when you relax, there is a downward direction that happens naturally, down through your buttocks, down through the chair, also down through your legs. So as you relax, try not to allow that feeling to pull you out of your Zhongjung. So you're balancing these 2 ideas in your sitting practice. Close the eyes. That helps you tune inward. There's 2 important terms as well from sort of Western physiology, kinesiology. Proprioception, which is this idea of understanding where your limbs are in space and where they are in relationship to your body on a sort of outer level. And then there's interoception, which is a very interesting thing you can develop, where as you go ahead and close your eyes, especially over time, you can start to, in a way, view your body. You can start to see and feel the skull and how it connects to the 7 cervical vertebra. You can start to feel those and see those relationships. You can start to see and feel your rib cage and shoulder blades and arm bones and where they all connect all the way down through to the stomach area and all the organs in the stomach, digestive tract in the stomach, down through the genital area, buttocks and legs, all the way down through to the feet. So with the eyes closed, breathing in, breathing out, be tuning, training this awareness of the body that is very easily lost. It's easy for us to get disconnected, maybe a little stressed, or some, various things in the world distract us and disconnect us from our awareness of our body. So when we practice being more aware of the body, we're calibrating this relationship, and then over time that relationship becomes natural. It just becomes a natural thing that you're just aware of your body as you move around. So all of that is happening in just this opening couple of minutes of practice, of just Jong Jung, Chun One. And eyes closed, you're looking in, sensing what's going on with the body, and working to let go wherever you're grabbing. Release anything extra. And to help with that, the breathing in through the nose, out through the nose or the mouth. We'll just do this a few times. Breath in and breath out. And in this class, we'll only do this for a minute, but in your own practice, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, all very useful. Different time intervals. Every complete breath that you take, where you're present for the entire inhale, the entire pause, the entire exhale, the entire bottom pause, and into the next round. Every single one of those, you can think of that as like weightlifting for your attention, for your mind to stay unbroken and present. One breath cycle leading into the next breath cycle. And again, over time, that becomes natural because the mind loves to be present once it gets comfortable with that sensation of sort of settled, present, quiet, clear quality. We also want now our movements that we do, these joint mobilizations, to feel like a natural next progression of meditation. So it's not separate from the breath work and the meditation. It just flows right from it. So on your next inhale, go ahead and open your eyes. Slide the hands back, elbows back, arch the back, look up to the sky. And then with your exhale, slide the hands forward and round the back and hollow the chest area and release and wrap. We'll just do that 3 more times. Inhaling. And then exhaling. So that interoception, that awareness of your body. And then now we're adding movement while paying attention to the body. We're network connecting the brain. The brain is finding how to control all these little moving parts, the vertebra and the spine, the shoulder blades, arms, the hips, tipping and tilting, the head tipping and tilting. And we want to emphasize this feeling of softness, of relaxation, of looseness throughout every movement. And then come back to your neutral position and slide the left hand forward, the right hand and elbow back, and just softly turn, rotating to the right. And then switch, turn, and rotate to the left. And turn back. Breath-wise, you can exhale as you turn. Inhale as you come back to middle. Exhale as you turn the other way. Inhale as you turn. Continue. Couple more. And then back to middle. Pausing there for one moment. Let somebody else in here. And then the lateral movement, sideways. Hang your arms loose. Change your weight over to your right buttock, and then softly lean and tilt. Notice the head is tilting, the spinal column tilting. And lift this left wrist up close to your chest. Elbow flares out a little, so we just find this space here. And this foot is empty. And then we change. So now we go over to the left buttock. Lean, reach the left hand down as the right wrist floats up. Right foot is empty. And then we change. Lean. Now this one really important concept is present here. So notice in my body, as I'm way over here, this is way off to the side, all this has changed, but what hasn't sort of changed is here, the belly button representing the middle. So this is like the middle of the seesaw, the organizing middle center quality around which we move. So this is a unique idea in the Taoist concept of balance and just how to use the body correct. Is it's actually being totally free and loose everywhere. That's what opens up and reveals and cultivates the correct use of middle. Whereas if I'm holding my body and moving from my middle, I'm actually very clumsy and not adaptable. And so that's where this idea of, you would usually think, oh, if I'm looser and looser and looser, I'm going to be less stable, right? That kind of makes sense to our mind, but it isn't actually the case, especially how we're built. We're built that in this magnificent way that the looser and freer we are, the more we have a middle that we can operate from. So it's quite an interesting process to find that. Find the middle. Hang the arms down, and we do our shoulder circles here. So again, our shoulder blades on the back can slide up and down. They can also slide back, called retraction, and they can go to neutral, and then they slide forward from neutral, where they're opening kind of around the side of the rib cage. So then we put all that together to go protract, lift, retract, come down, under, protract, up, retract, and down, and continue that. So just that whole point I was making about, I have to mute somebody here. Okay. About looseness being the key. So this is a really important area, because look at all that movement that's available. But if I live my life and I just let this be stuck, then again, it's another area of weight, of clumsiness. And so we have to loosen and liberate shoulder blades, chest, upper back, arms, so that there's spaciousness here rather than congestion and compression. Now reverse that movement so it's back, then up, over top, forward, then down. Underneath, back, then up, over top, forward, and down. Show it from the back side as well. Back, up, over, down, under, back and up, over and down, under, back and up. Yeah. All right. And then one more just to clear this area out. Bend the elbows. Elbows flare out to the side and up. Down. Squeeze. Down. Flare them out and up. Down. Around in front. Squeeze. Down. One more time. Down. Squeeze. Now, elbows back, down, forward and up, forward and down and back, down, forward, up, forward, down, back. Again, same idea. We're just trying to move the movable parts in such a way that it liberates them from the sort of glue-like state that they can be in and turns it more into this lubricated, juicy fluid state. Elbows out, one hand above, one hand below. Now cross, and then hug, and then open, switch, cross and hug, open, one more of each. Opening and closing, and then elbows down, arms down. Oops. Now scoot back in your chair a little bit so you're stable. Load. So you bring the knee up and the heel sort of in, right? In like a spring loading. Push out. Reload. And then set the foot down, switch legs. Load, unload, reload, down, switch legs. Load, push, load, down. So we're looking for looseness and freedom of movement where the joints and tissues are just sliding and gliding rather than holding, tightening, gripping. Looseness allows for freedom of movement. And the more you practice that loose quality, the more you can do while in that quality. Now, the foot and ankle, point, flex. Tilt the foot a little in, out. Circle. And reverse circle. Switch. Point and flex. Tilt the foot a little in, tilt out, called inversion, eversion. And circle. Reverse circle. And down. Scoot forward. Step your feet a little wider than hip distance. Lift your toes up. Turning on the heels. Turn the knees and the toes in. Feel this closing of the quad. Then lift your toes, turn open, opening the quad. Closing. Quads, this groin area where legs and hips, everything meets. We need this to be spacious rather than gripped, right? One more. and back to neutral. Feet back to hip distance from that same space, fold. And then sit upright. And lean a little bit back from the same hip space. And again, fold. Upright. Back. One more, fold. So these parts, these movable relationships have to be cultivated as we age, and especially if we have any sort of illness that kicks in, like Parkinson's, you really have to like focus on, okay, I got to keep all these moving parts moving correctly in relationship with each other. Now, hang the arms. This loose quality we were talking about, we want to cultivate that a little more. Arms float up in front, drop and swing them back, and then swing them up, and then drop and swing them back, and swing them up. Feel that mechanism here in the arm, shoulder blade, chest, this whole area that has to be able to be free to have the arm go a little behind, a lot in front, a little behind. So it can't go the same amount behind as it does in front, but we have to get that space behind. Now, pause, let the arms hang, go one arm in front, one arm a little behind, and then switch and switch. So this is the quality you would want to have if you were taking a walk and really striding with your walk. Your arms have to be free to do this, and you feel this turning that this cultivates in your torso, this rotation quality that we want. Turning, loose, free. And then relax. Keep that looseness. Slide your feet back a little bit. Hip hinge, so you're going to fold. Now, arms, shoulders, and head in front of the ankle. The butt behind the ankle. Now we're in this perfectly balanced position. And then we just press down through the earth, and the body goes up to the sky. So that's the way we want to have good posture, not holding on to all the muscles in the head, neck, and shoulders and hoping that everything is put correctly. That just makes us clumsy and heavy. So loose as can be, grounding down and letting this crown lengthen to the sky. Now keep all that looseness, hip hinge. The butt goes back, the arms and shoulders hang in front. Notice I haven't bent my knees yet. So I've created this change first. Then the sinking of the butt will take care of the knees bending appropriately. And then we're back to sitting vertical in the chair. Let's do that twice more. Loose, folding. The movement is initially forward to get out of the chair, and then up to the sky. And reversing that, the butt goes back, the arms, shoulders, head in front, and you just sink. And notice it doesn't really require traditional effort. It's a different kind of effort. It's more elegant. It's more technically precise than it is brute force. And fold. And sink. One more time. Now, don't sit in your chair, but basically do exactly the same thing, doing this little squat. Let your hands come down, dangle them just near the toes or the floor, and then push through the earth and come all the way to standing nice and tall. And fold. So think of, like, in a way, an accordion, vertical, and you're closing the top of the accordion down and then bringing it back up. That sort of feeling, see if you can create that sort of feeling where you're just letting all the joints and tissue kind of gently consolidate towards each other, folding everything towards each other, and then unfolding, feeling this spacious quality of being vertical. And then we just fold and let everything gather together like an accordion, and then rise to stand. Okay. So now you keep your chair, keep your sitting chair right where it was, right? I just have limited space, so don't move your chair. You're good. Just leave everything as it is if you have the setup. Now you should have a chair on your right side. Go over to it and stand in front of it, facing it. Fingertips touching lightly for safety. Tip into your toes. And then go back to the middle of your feet and then tip into your heels. Now remember when I was saying this is the middle, the navel area? So especially when going backwards, a lot of times people do this, and notice how this is very different. I moved from the middle section of the body, and then forward from this middle section, and then back from this middle section, forward from this middle section, back. We're rocking. Now go forward so you're in your toes. Lift your heels up all the way. Come back down while you're still in your toes. Then rock back to your heels. Now you should be weighted. You know, the pressure is in the heels. Pull the toes and the ball of the foot up off the floor. And then put it down and rock forward and lift those heels. And down. And then rock back and pull the toes and ball the foot off the floor. Down, rock forward, lift, down, rock back, lift. Now, place the heels of your hands on the back of the chair. Walk your feet back a decent amount so that now you can basically do what's known as a downward dog or a puppy dog, where you stick your butt way back and get this stretch through the back of the legs, the back of the torso, the low back area, all the way up through the shoulders. And then lift the chest up, the hips come over forward, so you take the pressure out of the posture, and we go in one more time. Hips back, folding half. And come upright, walk all the way forward, 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 until you are under your own weight again and vertical. Turn and face forward. You got your chair on your right side still, so you got your hand on your chair. Turn your right foot just a few degrees out and put your weight in that foot. And then take your left foot out in front with the heel touching the ground, the toe pulled up into the air, left hand on your thigh. Now, the butt goes back, slide down that shin, and you can see in my body, my standing leg is a little bit bent. There's a little bend here. So sinking and slide the hand down to the ankle, maybe even to the foot or toes, and then stand all the way back up again to vertical. Do it again. Hip hinge. Folding. Slide the hand down to the ankle, possibly the foot, toes, and then rise back up. 3 more times. Flowing. So make sure you get all the way to vertical, and then you work on this hip hinge. Now, over time, if you feel pretty balanced, you don't have to have your hand on the chair. You can place that hand on the thigh of the bent knee. So that turns it into a little bit of a balance challenge there. And then come all the way up. So you're now executing this movement without having to lean on the chair. So that's the next progression of this exercise. Up. One more time. And up. Now, your left foot is in front. This has been empty and stretched, and there's good flow through it. Now, and what we need is this chair to actually be a little bit in front. Shift your weight into that left leg that was just empty, and here, tip. So notice when I tip my torso down, my back leg is going up. So now do use the chair here. And with your left hand, act like there's something on the ground that you're tipping to go grab. And then as if you grabbed it, come all the way up to standing vertical. And then again, tip. So as the torso goes down, the empty leg goes up. And then all the way to vertical. Remember the middle. So once again, the middle is kind of how we organize this. So everything on the outside, the limbs are relaxed. Everything is keeping this sort of a good alignment, but it's not tight. We're not holding on for dear life. We're loose. And just moving through that range of motion. All right, let's do that little series on the other side. So side step over. Got your other chair. So it should be your left hand on the chair. Left foot turns out 5 degrees. Put your right foot in front with the heel touching. Right hand on your thigh. Hip hinge. So you're bowing and sliding that right hand down the ankle to the foot. And then standing all the way vertical. Get all the way vertical. And then hip hinge. Sliding. And all the way vertical. Hip hinge. Remember, you can take hand off chair and put it on your left thigh. So that adds a little challenge of having no external support. Forces you to find that correct connection to the ground. 2 more. Hip hinge. Up. And 1 more time. So again, we've got good quality energy flow and looseness through that standing leg. And so then we practice using it as the standing leg without tightening it up. Keep it relaxed and then just teeter-totter over, dangle that right hand down, touching close to the floor, and then come back to all the way vertical. So really important to reset vertical and then go from vertical down and back. And so we're really changing all the parts relationship in the room, that proprioception, but this middle. So this really helps you find your middle where you go, oh yeah, my middle is still pretty much just kind of the same. It's like this empty space inside around which we are moving all these free parts. Last one. And vertical. All right. Now move over to the right side chair again. Chair is there if you need it. First exercise. From your middle pivot, change your weight to your right leg. Feel that loose quality, that bendability that allows it to be your support leg. This one empty. And then again, from the middle pivot, change that. So it's the other leg that's your support leg. And then change. And change. Try to feel what they call separation of empty and full. So one is full, other is empty. And then we go all the way to the opposite state where now this is full, this is empty. Another term for that is the mountain and the cloud. And then the mountain and the cloud. And the body is built to have our legs not be too constantly stiff limbs that we walk around like they're 2 peg legs. That's just not the sophisticated use of the body. It is built to have one be this sturdy connection to the ground while this becomes light and limber and agile, and then that we can change that. And then we change it back. So now the weight down through your right leg, the empty foot, try to lift up to the tippy toe. Get right onto the tip of the shoe, right to the very tip. and then place that heel back down still without any weight, and then change. Boom. So now, left leg is full, right is empty because it's empty. Get to the tippy toe, back down, and then change again. Down, weight through the right leg, get to the tippy toe, down, change, tippy toe, down. Let's go to the next level of the exercise. The weight goes down through the right leg, get to the tippy toe, then disconnect the foot from the floor. So that's where you might want your chair, hand on chair, so you can disconnect the foot and then place the whole foot down without any weight, and then change. Tippy toe. Disconnect. Whole foot connect without any weight, change. Tippy toe, disconnect. Whole foot reconnect, change. So we're finding sturdy and mobile. And then we're changing. Sturdy, mobile. And one step further in this exercise. Hand on chair as needed to get the knee all the way up to its highest height, to that chambered position, and then all the way down, whole foot on the earth, change. Weight change. Then this other leg is empty, tippy toe, disconnect, bring it all the way up, use the chair for safety, foot all the way down to the earth, empty while it still connects, and then change. Tippy toe, lift, down, change, and down. Now, next exercise, we start back at the beginning level of it. Put the weight in your left leg, right foot in front, heel touching. So I'm going to turn a little bit like this so that you can see the angles, but you just keep doing it straight ahead. So with this right foot in front, change the weight down into the right leg so you've moved forward in space and get empty in that back foot. And then down through your back leg so you're empty in your front leg and you've moved a little backwards in space. So this is the saying in Tai Chi, the primary direction is down. So even though now we're moving forwards and backwards, one of the main mistakes people make is they have all this tension in the body, and then when they go forward, they sort of lurch forward, and then we're always almost falling, right? So we want to keep this comfortable vertical, and then just go down, 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 down. Right? Just relaxed, loose arms, let them hang. So you got no extra tension up here. We're loose, we're released, we're supple, right? And every day, week, month, year that you practice these ideas, the better you get at going, oh yeah, I don't have to be tense. I can just be relaxed. Now we go level 2 of the exercise. Use the chair where needed. Lift. Touch the heel back down. Shift. Back leg like a little flamingo. Just bend the knee. Touch the toe down. Shift back. Front leg empty from this hip. Just lift. Lower. Down. And then back leg. Flamingo. So separating empty and full, and challenging, saying, is it really empty? Is it really full? Change, and then bend, return, shift, hip hinge, down, shift. Now, level 3 of the exercise. Use the chair to lift this knee all the way up, put the heel down in front, then shift. Now this back leg, bring the knee forward and up, and then reach the toe back, and we shift back. So now this front leg is empty, it's lift, down, shift. And this back leg, forward and up, toe back, shift. One more. And the idea is that over time you just feel relaxed. The whole time relaxed. And bring the feet together, side step so you're closer to your other chair. Once again, I'm changing my angle so you can see, but you guys keep doing it straight ahead. Put the weight in your right leg, left foot in front with the heel touching, toes pointing up. Level 1, we just go down through the front leg, down through the back leg. Change, change. The idea would be that you have a teacup on your head filled to the brim, and it's not really spilling because there's this zhong, this vertical upright that sort of is floating. It's just kind of floating in space as you have the correct vertical and then down through the body, connecting you to the earth. Shifting easily. Changing. Let's go to level 2. So when you're in your back leg, front leg is empty, lift it, use the chair for safety, lower it, and then shift. Once this back foot is empty, little flamingo, bend the knee, toe down, shift from the hip, lift, lower, shift. Because what is usually happening for folks is you think you've separated empty and full, but you really still have like 20% back here. So then when you go to pick it up, you notice your body has to kind of lurch to do that. Whereas you can see with me, because it's empty, there's nothing changing in my body. And the same thing here, you might think you're empty, but then you pick it up and your body does some sort of lurching versus when it's truly empty, it can lift and lower with no disturbance to your equilibrium. So that's what we're looking to discern, is finding this complete change of empty and full. Complete change. Empty and full. And if you have that, then the next third level of lift and lower remains feeling kind of easy and casual. Bring that back knee forward and up. Reach the toe back. Shift back. Then we lift, down, shift. Forward and up, return, shift, up, down, forward and up, back, shift. All right, feet together, side step back to your starting side here. Now the similar exercise that we just did, but we take it one step further. Back up a little bit so you can reach your chair, but it's just almost out of reach. Change your weight to your left leg, put your right foot in front, just like we did. Now, shift. Now your back foot is empty. Step it while it's still empty forward. So the heel is touching. And then shift. Now we shift back. Wait until your front foot is empty. Keep it empty while you just float it behind you. Touch the foot to the floor, toes to the floor, and then shift back. So we're changing once into this right leg, stepping an empty foot, and then changing again into the left leg. How's your teacup doing? Keep the teacup idea in mind as you step and step. Now the moving leg is the leg that we normally pay most of the attention to. But if you pay more attention to how's the sturdy leg relationship to the ground, if you get that right, then this step is easy peasy. And then change that so that your awareness is in that sturdy leg. So we start to pay attention a little bit more to something a little different than what normally we do. Now, level 2. Front leg is empty. Lift, lower, shift. Now your back foot being empty, It's got a step, we can now step it over a small obstacle. So pick up the foot, bring the foot over something, and then set it down, and then shift. And now your back leg, flamingo, touch the toe down, and now we go backwards. So shift, this leg comes up in front a little, bend, reach the foot behind, shift, lift, lower, shift, step over the obstacle. It can be a very small obstacle, and then shift, and then flamingo, bend, put the toe down, shift back, up, tuck, reach. So it's a big proving ground to say, am I really sturdy on this sturdy leg? Change. Now really proving ground here of, can you bring that empty foot all the way through without spilling your teacup? And then shift. Flamingo. Down. Keep jung or vertical pillar. And then you're practicing chun one, this relaxing down to the earth as your means of finding stability, rather than tightening up and holding the body. There's this subterranean support that we can find. And when we learn to rely on that, it's very, it's satisfying, and it's calming when you start to find, oh yeah, down, relax down, connect to the ground, rather than fearing the ground. All right, level 3, knee up, heel softly down, change the weight. Now we exaggerate here. We go heel to butt, knee up, foot out, heel down, shift, knee forward and up. And we reverse, toe back, shift. The weight is going down through the standing leg, so this leg is free and loose to travel through that whole range of motion. And then again, the weight goes down through your left leg, so your right leg is now free to lift and go down. Weight gets down through the right leg, so the left foot's free. And feet together, switch sides. Closer to this side. Put the weight through your right leg, left foot out in front, left heel touching. Level 1, shift. Once the back foot is empty, just float it forward. Forward, and then shift. Shift back. Once this front foot is empty, step it back while still empty, and then shift. So just be more attentive to the sturdy leg. So now that sturdy leg, you're shifting here, the step is an afterthought. And then the sturdy leg, make sure you get that right. Make sure you get that sturdy leg right, then the moving part, no problem. One more, level 1. And then we go level 2. So you got the chair for support. Lift, lower, shift. Now there's a small obstacle on the floor. Pick the foot up and step over it. And then shift. Flamingo. Go down. Shift back. Now up in front. Stepping backwards over an obstacle. Shift. From the hip. Lift. Lower. Shift. Full leg allows for the freedom of the empty foot. And then you change. The full leg allows for the freedom of that little flamingo. Lift and lower. Full leg allows for this freedom of movement. Full leg. Lift. Lower. One more, level 2. Main habits is we start to feel a little unsteady, and so we grab on more. Tai Chi is learning to relax more in the face of that. Whoa, I almost lost my balance. You relax more. It's difficult, but more sustainable over time. Now, level 3, knee up, heel softly down, change. Now the exaggerated heel to butt, knee up, foot out, lower that empty foot, then shift. Knee, toe, shift, and sort of exaggerated. Knee, tuck the foot, reach the toe back, still empty. Shift. Knee, heel. 2 more. So we're just training Zhongjang Chunwan. Chunwan meaning softening and relaxing as your means of finding stability. And like an equation, Zhongjang plus Chunwan equals Qingling, which means nimbleness, lightness, easy, agile movement, which is what we're producing over time. Now, facing forward, move to the left side of your space, and then turn. So you've got your 2 chairs. They act as your safety mechanisms. We're going to take a walk along the runway here. So put your weight in your right leg, put your left foot in front, change your weight into your left leg. Right foot is empty, step it while it's still empty, and then change. Step the empty foot, change. Step the empty foot, change. Step, change. Reverse direction. So going backwards a little trickier, right? We're not as used to it. But same rule applies. Empty a foot, step it behind while it's still empty, then change the weight into it. So you've got one sturdy leg that's keeping you safe, and then that movable foot. And then you change. So one you changed, now the other is sturdy, the other is movable. The term in Tai Chi is being double weighted when you are partially weighted in both legs all the time. And that's what makes clumsiness versus when you truly separate the two. So you've got one that's doing all the support work, so the other can be totally movable. And then change. And then change again. And then change again, right? So we have to break a sort of glued state to find freedom of movement again. 100% in one, 0 in the other. 100% in that one now, 0 back to the other. And vertical. So all we're looking for is down, down. And then let's do level 2 of this, where every step is stepping up and over something. If this is too much, go back to level 1. But get the weight down, empty foot, free to step over something. Empty foot down, step over. So even though we are moving forwards in space, I'm not thinking forward or backward, really, right? Because I'm not moving with my body in some way awkwardly forwards or backwards. Just retain your vertical. Retain the vertical and get the down to the earth. Down to the earth. And turn and face forward. Put the weight down through this left leg. I'm sorry, left leg. Right foot out, in, out, in. Continue that. So notice again, full leg, empty leg, and it stays empty while it's stepping, rather than awkwardly. So the teacup, not spilling. Nothing is moving. You can see in my body, just this free foot. Now, put your foot out there, keep it there. Change the weight into your right leg. Left leg is empty. Change back to the left leg. Right leg is empty. Change. 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 Also notice vertical. So because I'm moving from the middle, there is no leaning tower of Pisa happening. There's no leaning tower, leaning tower. Instead, there's just vertical and full empty, full empty. Now bring the weight into your right leg. Keep it there. Left foot should be empty. Bring it in, out, in, out. And so it can help. You see where my hands are here, just kind of arranged around the navel. That can feel really nice because it's bringing your mind saying, okay, here's your middle, here's your middle. You can also just have your arms hanging loose. It's fine. Now bring your left foot in, keep it in, feet touching if you can. From this middle, change the weight to the left, change the weight to the right. So this is really important because we're sort of hemmed in and there's not a lot of left and right movement available. So it forces us to find down because you see this foot is empty for me. And then from the same middle, down. This foot is empty. Down. Down. Right? One more time, down through your left, right empty, side step out. Then change, full empty. Step the empty foot in. Change, full empty, step out. Full empty, step in. Full empty, step out. Change. In. All organized around the middle. Reverse. Teacup is still intact. Change. The down is what we sort of avoid. We're avoiding letting it go through to the earth. Through. That's what frees the foot. Through. 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 Now, let's do from the Friday class this bear washing pause. So, full empty, full empty, shift and turn, sweeping the hands. Full empty, full empty. Now, with your hands over to your left side, weights in the left, right foot is stepped out, change the weight into the right leg, turn, sweep. Now bring the left foot in. Keep it in, change the weight down through it as you turn. So here, the right foot should be empty. Step it out. Shift and turn. Left foot should be empty. Step it in. Shift and turn. Right foot empty. Step it out. So we're traveling across the room, executing the simplest of the Tai Chi movements. So this is the level 1 advanced Tai Chi movement because we're doing all the things. We're stepping and moving while executing a choreography bit with the rest of the body. Reverse directions, left foot comes in, steps out, we go shift and turn, brush and sweep. So the bear washing its paws in the stream. while walking sideways. And this is difficult and awkward until you find your middle. And you realize, oh, I can operate this vehicle from the middle, only if I'm relaxed, of course. Because that tension gets in the way, it creates all this internal conflict. But the more we find this soft quality everywhere, and then we find our middle, we go, oh, it's kind of easy. And then back to middle. And we close with 3 of these sink chi wash organs. So tip a little bit into your heels, open, and float the arms up. Then tip a little bit into your toes, arms sweep around in a sort of gathering gesture, palms face up. Tip into your heels, bring the hands back as if bringing something in the mouth. Guide the hands down the middle to that middle, the belly. And then like a squat, the butt goes back. We sink, we soften the arms long, and release everything out of the body through the feet to the earth. And then stand back up, relax, and with good alignment, we do that twice more. Sort of like a chi reset. Rock back, open and lift. Rock forward, wrapping around, gather. Rock back, bringing in the upper level. Rock middle, settle everything to the middle. And then this hip hinge and squat. And last one. Rocking back. Open and lift. Rocking forward, this guiding through, receiving in, washing in and down. And then finally, wings, roll, fold, and settle everything down to the belly. And then we close the practice sealing. One hand over navel, other hand over that hand. 3 breaths here. That little Taoist bow. To make this little yin-yang looking symbol. Thank you, everybody. Well done. All right, if there are any comments or thoughts or questions, feel free to unmute. Thanks everyone for being here.